Good morning from Lowell Point, just outside the town of Seward. So Seward is back that way. This is the northern tip of Resurrection Bay. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. For once, I'm actually up early for an adventure instead of heading out late and hiking at night. The reason is I've got something really cool and unique that I want to go check out and see, but it's kind of hard to get out there. So first step is we need to get on a boat. Hello and welcome to sunny Cove State Marine Park. It's not that sunny. It's not that sunny today. This is going to be a overcast, gloomy trip, I think, but that's probably for the better because it's going to make the water conditions better. This is not our final destination. This is just a staging ground where I had the boat drop me off, and in all these bags I've got right here is my inflatable kayak and my kayaking gear and my overnight gear. There's the kayak. Parts of the paddle, more paddle, the rest of the paddle, pump. This is the main thing we need right now. And now we just do this a whole bunch. It's going to take a little while. Only 3 minutes to get a good amount of air in those chambers. That was a lot quicker than I thought, actually. I was thinking that was going to take like 10 minutes. And we've got our floor inflated. That one takes a little longer, even though it's not nearly as high volume, just because this valve is so much smaller. You can't push air in through it as fast. It's harder to pump. So I think at this point, I want to start loading my gear in here. So I think this bag, which has all of my overnight gear, I think it's ready to load up. Let's actually do it this way, because then it kind of makes a flat back for the seat to sit against. These were kayaking gear bags, but they're now empty. So I'm just gonna cram them as far up in the front as I can. This bag that has the door barrel in it might be able to sit right there. And that will be the hard rest for my feet to sit against. I'm running out of stuff, actually. This is going quicker than I thought. So I think now I'm gonna add the deck, which goes over the top of everything. This kayak is, I think 14 years old, so the zippers don't run as smooth as they used to. But I tell you what, when I bought this thing, I was thinking if I could get 1 or 2 years out of it, I'd probably get my money's worth. And here we are 14 years later. Okay, now we've got the deck bag. This is just stuff that I want to be able to reach while I'm sitting in the kayak. And then my air pump's just gonna sit back here under these bungees. PFD is ready to put on. Kayak or paddle is assembled, ready to go. Spare paddle is strapped onto under the bungees up here. This is just if like I break or lose this paddle somehow, I've got a backup. The only thing that's left is to get into this damn dry suit, which I am dreading, but it's time. Now we're definitely not wearing rain pants under the dry suit. That would be stifling. So my under the dry suit layer is just going to be grid fleece bottoms and this essentially grid fleece, but very light grid fleece top. Get this ankle gasket over my foot. Arms next. Not too hard. Has these, if you can't tell, latex gaskets around the wrists and the ankles. That's what keeps water from getting into it around those areas. Now I can put my watch back on. Now the part that I hate. I gotta get my head through this neck gasket. Ugh. And then you kind of feel like you're gonna pass out for a minute because it's tighter around your neck. Ugh. 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 Okay, okay. Whoop. Let's get in the cockpit here. There we go. Nice and snug. All right. All said and done. That was about 1 hour. Paddles upside down. That was about 1 hour to gear up and get on the water. All right, let's start moving. So, like I said earlier, Sunny Cove here is not our destination. We're heading out to Rugged Island, which is about a 6 or 7 mile paddle for us. Not sure exactly. We'll know in a little bit. We're going to kind of island hop, so we're going to come around the back edge of this island, which is Fox Island. And then we've got a 1 mile open water crossing to Hive Island. Then we circle around Hive Island, and then we've got another 1 mile open water crossing to, what did I say earlier? Rugged Island. And then we kind of snake around the edge of Rugged Island into Mary's Bay. And that's where we're going to park up the kayak for the night. There's something cool there. I don't want to spoil it, so I probably spoiled it in the title of this video, but I'm not actually sure how well you can see in the over-the-shoulder camera there. It's kind of hard for me to tell what it's got in shot. But right up ahead here, there's a very nice sea arch. This is the backside of the south side, I guess, of Fox Island, where we started on. We just came around the corner. Check it out. Yep. Yep. That's heavy. It's heavier than I thought it would be. Get the boat rotated back around, looking back this way, so that next island in that direction, right there, that's Hive Island. Seas are quite calm right now, as you can tell. Weather's nice, shouldn't be any problem. By the way, it's 59 degrees air temperature right now. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. I don't have a way to directly measure the water temperature myself, but when I was looking at the marine forecast, I think it said in the mid-50s. I've got I just thought of this because I see a boat crossing through the channel there. I've got a marine radio here. I've never actually used one of these before. This is the first time I've had it out on a trip. But it's mainly here so that if I get into any sort of trouble, I can call for help. And I can also use my inReach as a backup to that. But if I can get somebody on the radio, like someone in the local area, that's faster help than I'm going to get through the inReach. The people at the water taxi told me that some whales had been sighted feeding just in this area up ahead in the channel between Fox Island and Hive Island, the channel we're just about to cross. That was earlier, so I mean they move. Might not be there anymore, but they told me to keep my eyes out when we're paddling through here. There are filter feeder type whales like baleen whales, humpback whales. There are also orcas in this area, and orcas kind of scare me. That's a big predator. No guarantee we're going to see any of those things, but we'll keep our eyes out. It'll be a cool encounter if we do. Although if we see an orca, I am definitely going to want to admire it from a safe distance. I'm just rotating the boat here so you can see there's a neat sea arch right here. If the tide was higher, the bottom of there would be submerged and we would be able to paddle through it, but that is certainly not going to happen anytime soon. Okay. Let's start making distance across this channel. Getting close to Hive Island here. We've almost made it across this first channel crossing. I just turned the camera on because there's some kind of animal in the water ahead of me here. I just saw a little round, like roughly human-sized head poke up and look at me. I'm assuming that's a seal or a sea lion or an otter. Alright, so we're tracking alongside Hive Island now. We're about halfway down. I'll rotate the kayak for a moment just so you can see, just so I can prove we're at the island. I'm feeling really comfortable out in this water. It's not too wavy or windy or anything, so I'm just going to cut straight across. Just go for the shortest distance instead of trying to hug the land. So let's just shoot right for the right tip of that island ahead. Okay, as I'm approaching the channel between Hive Island and Rugged Island, I'm seeing quite a bit of boat traffic back and forth through there, including what looks like a large tour boat and a smaller boat that's coming pretty much in my direction. I'm just going to do a call out on the radio to make sure people know that I'm here are aware to be on the lookout for me, because I'm not fast or maneuverable in this thing. I can't get out of the way very easily. Securite, securite, securite. This is Kayaker Jason crossing from Hive Island to Rugged Island. Please be aware, orange kayak crossing from Hive Island to Rugged Island. Let me rotate the boat to face west for a moment, because we just rounded this headland over here. This is called Callisto Head here, and just to the left of it, I'm not quite sure how well you'll be able to see it in the GoPro, but there's a glacier right there. That's Bear Glacier. It's quite large glacier coming off the Harding ice field up there. There's a nice lake or lagoon right at the base of it that it doesn't look easy, but it looks possible to get a kayak into that lake and then paddle around among, there goes another puffin. There's two more puffins. And paddle around the ice chunks in the glacier water there. That is way too far across here for me to want to do that on this trip, or to even have time to do it. But that is something that I want to do on a future trip, so I'm going to keep that in mind. All right, we are within the orbit of Rugged Island now. We've made that crossing, just closing in on that little shoulder of land we were aiming for. That felt like a long crossing, but we're closing in on that shoulder soon in the next few minutes. And we'll round it and get a good look at what's coming up next. I don't actually know by memory. Is this the entrance to Mary's Bay around the shoulder, or do we have a little farther to go? I'm not sure. We're gonna find out soon. Right up to the edge of the rocks here. Okay, let's get a little bit farther out away from that edge. The waves are kind of focusing around the edge there and getting a little breaky. Don't want to get in that. No, this is not Mary's Bay. We need to pass that point out there, and then we're going to come around shortly after that another point, and then we'll be in Mary's Bay. So still a fair little distance to go, a couple miles. All right, we're finally closing in on this point out here that we need to round. There is a fishing boat right here, people fishing right off the point. I'm going to pass right between them and the point, because it would take me too long to go around them. I'll rotate the boat just a moment so you can get a view of these cliffs over here. It's pretty cool. Quite a few puffins flying around right out here. There's two floating in the water just to my left. There's three fairly close here, and there's like a whole raft of like 10 of them. Feels like we have reached kind of a more wildlife-y area. This is essentially the end of Resurrection Bay here. Like I was saying, that's the Gulf of Alaska. There is nothing in that direction for a very, very long way. I definitely feel the difference as soon as we rounded that corner, and just the amount of swell we're getting now. Now we're feeling ocean swell instead of just the light swell that was in the bay. Still quite easy to paddle. Check this out. Let me rotate us. There's just some like awesome fracturing in the cliff wall right there, so there's like these cracks that go deep back into the rock. You know what, let's just go over there and check that out, because it looks like the shape of the land right there is kind of shielding the swell, so it's not as swelly. Is that the word I want? It's not as swelly right over there, so maybe we could get a look at it from closer up. Yeah, here we are in a little alcove. Ooh, I don't know if you can hear that. There's a deep rumble that is a wave going back in the rock somewhere, and just like boom. I don't know if these microphones will even pick up a noise that deep. Wow, this is a cool spot. I'm being a little cautious. I think this is as close as I want to get. Just around this corner here, we should... Is this where we're entering Mary's Bay? Or am I still a headland off? Might still be a headland off. Maybe that one over there up ahead. This is flipping cool. I just came around this corner right here, and like maybe 20 feet away was a sea otter just lying on its back floating there. It saw me and dove before I could get the camera on, unfortunately. But it didn't know I was coming, I guess. How would it? I was pretty silent, and there's wave noises out of here. Saw me, flipped over and stared at me a bit, and then dropped. Never saw it again. It's here somewhere. It's here somewhere. Okay, I was approaching this headland, and it's like almost detached from the rest of the island. If the tide was high enough, you could... Unfortunately, the tide is not high enough, so we're gonna have to go around. Now, I know I've said this before, but this might be the last headland we have to round into Mary's Bay. Yeah, this looks like it might be it for real this time. Yeah. Okay, I'm not sure exactly where in Mary's Bay we're supposed to be going. Let's stay off of these rocks, by the way, while I'm chatting to the camera. I'm not sure exactly where we're supposed to be going, but there are some old pilings from a dock that no longer exists, but the pilings are still there, and that's what we want to be looking out for. I think it's on the southern side, more or less directly where the kayak is pointing right now, but I could be wrong. Puffins. Oh, that's a murre? Or a cormorant? Murre. I think a murre? Is that a murre? Is that even how you say that?
Murre.
I might see the pilings. They might be directly ahead of the kayak here, which is about where I expected them to be, so no surprises there. I can't quite make out if I'm seeing what I think I'm seeing, but it's the only thing I see that looks like pilings. So I'm gonna head that way. Okay, yes, those were the pilings that I could see from the other side of the bay here. By the way, the water is much calmer inside the bay here. There's no more swell. Those were the pilings, FYI, southeast side of the bay. Next thing we're looking for, it's surprisingly difficult to find good information online about this place. Next thing we're looking for is the remains of an old road. I believe the road came to the docks here when there were docks. So that's what we should be looking for. Somewhere around this area. Paddle right through these things. It's a little narrow for me to fit my paddle through. Gotta time my strokes just right. Do you see anything that looks like a road? Or looks like it was once a road? Because I don't. You know, just as I said that, there's like a level up there. It's hard to describe what I'm seeing. It doesn't look like a road, but it looks like a patch of ground that has been level. Which could be a road that has long since degraded and fallen apart. which to be fair is what we're looking for. So, how in the heck do we tie up the kayak here? You know? Because this is just a giant rocky beach. Calling it a beach is a stretch. I would like to get the kayak itself up above the tide line. And to do that here, I'm just going to have to muscle brute force it up these rocks. Which doesn't sound fun. I could do that. But is there a better option around here? I'm not even sure that I've found the road yet. I should maybe just get out and scout it. And check that this is where I want to be. Before we put too much effort into getting ashore. Here? Over there is perhaps a good option, comparatively good option. It is not a good option, but it might be the best option. Right where this goal's at. No, that's not really going to work either, is it? Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's get off of that rock. Did not like the way that felt. I may just have to come to grips with the fact that there's no good options here. Okay. Question, how slippery are these rocks? How much am I about to fall in? I think I'm going to take the microphone off under the assumption I'm about to get wet. Here. Okay, so I want to take gear out of this to make it lighter, and then we'll try to drag it up a little ways. Remember when I said we should confirm this is actually where we want to be first? Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, this does in fact look like it could be an old roadbed. But holy cow, is it overgrown. I think this is it though. I think this is the path that we want to follow? Try to follow? Could be a challenge. But we're right up from the pilings. FYI, for anyone else who wants to come out here and is trying to find info and stumbles across this video. Ugh, there we go. Let's just flip it and see where it ends up. There she sits, presumably safe from both tide and rain, although I am additionally going to tie it off so that it doesn't just slide off of here right down into the water. That would suck. Just be gone when I come back tomorrow. Line up from the bow loop around a sturdy tree branch, tied an alpine butterfly loop, and then beanered it to itself. That shouldn't be capable of pulling away. So even if somehow the boat slides back down the rocks there, it can't just slide all the way to the water and wash away. It'll still be tied in. So, this is the last we'll be seeing of you tonight. We'll be back tomorrow to hopefully find you just like you are right now. Moment of truth. Can we undo the zipper by ourselves? Here we go. That should do it. Oh, wow. How wet are my shoes? Are they still just nasty wet? Are they dry enough that I'm willing to put dry socks in them, or would I rather just put the wet socks back on and wear them in it? I think I'll go with dry socks. Both paddles, the deck bag, the gloves, the dry suit, and the PFD are all just staying right here on the beach. This bag and this bag are going with me, along with bear spray and pistol. So I'm going to try to get geared up with all of those now. Okay, and I guess the way we have to do this is I'm wearing the one bag, and the other one I'm just wearing the shoulder strap as a front bag. This is really not a comfortable way to hike, but it's what we got. It's what we have to work with. We're going to start heading up this, what we think is a trail. This is not going to be easy going. You know what, actually, right past the beginning here, it looks a lot better. Yeah, it looks actually quite fine up there. That's a relief. I thought we were going to be pushing through that crap the whole time. It's like flipping Jurassic Park in here. This is crazy. These plants right here are called Devil's Club. I'm trying to be very careful. They're covered with tiny spikes. If you come in here, let me detach the camera from the monopod for a moment and show you. Definitely bring some kind of stick, hiking pole, something you can use to part the seas without touching them. Got a danger hole here. Don't step in that. Pretty serious climb. Fast elevation gain. This trail is just switchbacking back and forth. Let's not go that way. There's a tree in the trail. Little bypass right here. The danger holes are aplenty. Are we even walking on ground here? Or is this just like a mat of stuff on top of a rock breakdown? I don't know if you can get a sense of how high we've climbed. We've only gone about a quarter of a mile from the trailhead. We've gained about 200 feet already. Well, it just came to a fork in the trail. It can go that way, or it can go that way. And I was wondering which way I should go. And it's like the forest fairies have showed up to help me. There is an arrow made in forest detritus here. So I guess we'll go this way. I've been finding more and more piles of old debris. First it was just one rotted out steel drum, and then a couple of little pieces of corrugated metal roofing. And this is quite a debris field right here. Still climbing. Let me see. My watch says we've climbed 520 feet so far in 0.6 miles. I think this might have been another forest fairy sign. Arrow saying to go this way, but it's partially destroyed. Another danger hole, this time kind of hidden under the ferns where it's hard to see. Steel cable sticking out of the ground. I think we've reached the spine of the island. It just suddenly flattened off. We look back the way we came and it just looks like it drops off into the abyss over there. And then you look over here, there's only maybe 30 feet of land Looks like it drops off too. We will definitely check that out in a bit. But first, I see this giant structure up here. Oh my god, this is amazing. Wow! Oh my god. Look at this. It's incredible. Okay guys, my camera battery is legit about to die. And I am too. So I'm gonna sit down and take a break, let my battery charge, eat lunch, and just rest for a bit, and then we'll get to exploring this. 1 hour to hike up here. Let me get the stats. 54 minutes, 0.87 miles, average speed 0.9 miles per hour. I can't see the elevation gain, but I think it's just around 650. Okay, I've just been sitting here in my bed for about half an hour, ate some beef jerky and a candy bar, and waited for the camera charge. It's back to full charge, so this is Fort Bulkley. Back in World War II, the US military was very worried about the possibility of a Japanese invasion of Alaska, and so they started building up defenses at strategic harbors around the state. This was designed to defend Resurrection Bay. It's positioned out here right at the mouth of the bay, and it was an observation post looking for enemy ships, and it also had some gun emplacements. Let's step inside. Got my headlamp out of my bag. It's a little echoey in here. Side room. Some nasty stuff on the floor, don't know what that's about. These doors are in great shape though. The hinges are rusted so they won't move, but the wood is really nice. Just a pit? I don't know what that's about. I don't know what these rooms would have been used for. It's very echoey in here. Floor is wet. It's quite cold in here too. It's like being in a cave. I'm shivering. I'm still kind of wet from the trek up here. My clothes are a little wet. This is in much better shape than I was expecting though. Ooh, I can see daylight down there. Okay, we'll have to check that out in a moment. I want to get to the end of this hallway, see what's up here. Pit. Is it rope? No, it's leaves. Just a pile of leaves. So this comes back out the other side, apparently. Instantly warmer. There's a coil of something. Some more danger holes. Okay, so that structure heading out that way, that must be the one that we could see daylight through from inside. I will go back to that. I just want to check over here real quick. Holy crap. This is steep. Give me the willies. So that out there is the end of, is that called Eilick Cape? The next bay over is Eilick Bay. There are, I don't know if I'm going to be able to zoom in enough for you to see this, but there's sea lions down there on the rocks. You can see a couple right there. I had read that there's the sea lions like to hang out on the rocks at the tip of this island. I was actually kind of planning to stay in here tonight, but by gosh, it is significantly colder in here than it is outside. I brought my tent in case staying inside isn't workable for any reason. Oh yeah, by the way, we're staying here tonight, paddling out tomorrow. Okay, so it's just another exit over here. So where would have been like observation windows and gun emplacements? All that stuff should be here somewhere. I'm just not sure where to go to look for it. I'll have to explore a little more. Unfortunately, I've discovered something horrible already. I forgot to bring my stove up. It's still in the kayak, and I do need it. So I'm going to have to make a walk back down there and get it. Not that far, but as we've already established, it is a very slow trail. Fortunately, at least I don't have to carry all my gear this time. I'll just take the backpack with nothing in it so I can toss the stove in and carry it back up. But I need to get that done, so that might be my next order of business before we spend too much time exploring here. I'm just thinking, oh, look. Yeah, this is what I was just thinking. That this is the side facing the entrance of the bay, so the more defensive parts of the emplacement should be out here. So this circular round indention here, this is where one of the guns would have been. These are the tracks that it could rotate around on the aim. And I guess there's another one on the other side. Let's see if we can work our way around. Instead of going through the middle, let's try to work our way around the outside and see what we can see. There's a path up to the top, actually. Someone has walked up there. Let's check it out. Something up here. Wasn't expecting there to be something up here. I kind of thought this would just be over the top and nothing. There's definitely something up here. Huh. Stairs. This is an entrance. Okay, this is like the observation room. Where if you cleared these trees out, you would have views out at approaching ships. And these are like shutters, you can close the windows down. It doesn't look like they have a view anymore though. I don't know if the vegetation has grown up since then, or if they just never got around to clearing it before the war ended and they decided they didn't need this place. Upper observation level. I said the first thing I needed to do was go down and get my stove, and I've already completely abandoned that idea. We are going to get the stove, but I'm exploring now. This is so cool. This is genuinely much more than I was expecting to find when I'm up here. I'm thrilled. I thought we were just going to find a couple of ruined buildings. It is quite difficult to find any good information online about this place. The best I found was one video from, I think, last summer. YouTube channel called The Outdoor Boys. It's a pretty good channel. You should check them out. But even in that, it showed some of the structures, but it didn't show a whole lot of detail about how to get here. I mean, he was just as confused as I was, running on even less information than me probably, because I at least had his video to go off of. This is an artificial rock stack, actually, I think. So they put this here, I assume, as a blast shield to defend against incoming shells from out to sea. Also, there's a geocache out here somewhere. I would like to find that while we're here. You know what, actually? I've got my phone in my pocket. Let's just see if we're anywhere nearby or if we're just completely in the wrong neighborhood. 100 feet away from it. Well, okay. Let's walk towards it. Just kind of wandering around looking at stuff anyway. Here's a second one of these round pits where the gun emplacements would have been. It's so overgrown that you can't really see much there. I can see there's water in the bottom. I guess you could filter that if you were in a dire straits. What in the hell is that? By the way, the cache page has a little more information about this fort. It says it was never completed because they got to 90% complete, and then the war shifted to the South Pacific Theater, and it was decided this was no longer needed, so it never had the guns installed. But if it were completed, this rock and some more material would have used to make a domed cap over the actual building. Oh, yep, right there. Look at that. Okay. Official geocache. And my comment is just wow in all caps with an exclamation point. You know what? 2 exclamation points. Now let's get back on the task of getting the stove back. This isn't really going to be a filming run. It's just going to be a quick down and back. I am taking the camera just in case I see anything. Actually, you know what? I was going to take this sweater off and just hike in the base layer. But got a mostly empty backpack. It does have my rain jacket in it in case the rain picks up while I'm on the journey. I'm also wearing my rain pants this time, mostly because last time I picked up a lot of moisture in my pants just pushing through the wet grass. So hopefully that'll still prevent that. So I'm going to take the sweater off and then we'll start heading downhill. Have I been here before? Look at this. Shows you how narrow the top of this island is. Drop down there, turn this way, drop down there. I do not remember walking through this spot. Look at this flipping view. This is great. This was a worthwhile, that was a worthwhile wrong turn. Look at this. Ah, okay. That was where you end up if you miss the forest fairy marking and continue this way instead. Okay, made it back down here in 28 minutes. Not too bad. Going downhill is easier. Pot and stove. Mug. Fuel canister. Is there anything else in here I should be aware of? And 31 minutes back to the top. It's a lot easier when you're not carrying a a full pack and when you have a track to follow. Okay, here's the deal. This spot here is real aesthetic with this cool ass door here. But that upper observation room is so much warmer and drier feeling. So I think I'm going to move my stuff up there and stay up there for the night. Plus it's just less creepy up in this room. And I feel like this is not going to come across right on video. I feel like in video it's going to look like this is the creepy room. But trust me, being at the end of that long, dark, echoey hallway with like cold, damp graveyard air emanating from it, that's the creepy spot, not up here. And I think my stuff actually might have a chance to dry up here because the air is not just so damp like it was down there. Wow, okay, quick update. Almost immediately after filming that last sequence, I laid down here and just crashed and slept for about 3 hours. I didn't even eat one of my dehydrated dinners I brought with me. I just ate some candy bars and beef jerky and was like out. I really needed some rest after what we did all day. So it's right now 11:45 p.m., almost midnight. The rain did come. It's very hard to tell from in here. In fact, when I woke up, I thought it wasn't raining, but I walked outside and it's just like a mist of rain. You can't even hear it from in here. You can't hear it falling, but if you go outside, it is raining out there. My fleece sweater is completely dry now, as are my fleece pants because I was wearing them when I went to sleep. My socks are dry. Like that's how you dry things out in the wilderness, is you just put something warm inside of them, in this case just my body heat, and wait a while, and the warmth helps migrate the moisture out of them. So since both of those things are dry, I've set them aside and I've switched into my jogger pants and my base layer, and I'm going to dry those out next while I lay here. I have accepted that those socks are a lost cause. They are not going to dry out. Those are the ones that I just stepped directly in the water and they're just waterlogged. My hiking shoes, I'm working on those. So I just heated up some water in my stove and filled up my 16-ounce Nalgene bottle with hot water, and we're just packing that in there. And same deal, put something warm inside of it and it's going to migrate the moisture out of that. So I only have one of these bottles. I can only do one at a time, but I'm going to let that sit in there for a couple of hours, and then I'll heat that bottle back up and do the other shoe. So both of those shoes should be warm by morning. So yeah, there's not really a whole lot for me to do here other than pass the time. I did bring my e-reader so I can read while I'm sitting here. And of course I've got my radio, but all I can pick up out here is the NOAA weather band. Okay, you know, I said that the waterlogged socks are probably a lost cause, but I was thinking about it, it doesn't hurt to try. It's not like I consume the water by doing this. The water is still there in the morning that I can use to cook my breakfast with. So I filled up my 32-ounce Nalgene with hot water and wrapped the sock around it. And you can kind of see, maybe you can see in the camera, there's just like steam pouring off of it right now. That's how this works to help dry things out. Otherwise, I'm just going to make a hot chocolate before I lay down again. And after that, I might go for a cup of chamomile tea. Gonna make some hot food now. Chicken fajita bowl. Just gonna have a beef jerky and cheese stick with it. Good morning. It's 10 a.m. I had a great night's sleep out here. I slept for probably about 10 hours, maybe even a little more than that, because I crashed for 2 or 3 hours last night. And then I got up and made dinner at like midnight and sat around and reading for a bit while I worked on drying my clothes out. And then I went to sleep again and slept through until just a few minutes ago. It's been perfect in here for sleeping all night. It's like 51, 52 degrees, holding steady. For a while, the rain picked up enough where we just had like the white noise of the raindrops outside. It's about time I need to get moving. We have our pickup scheduled from all the way back on Fox Island where we started for 4:45 p.m. Alright, starting the hike back down to the kayak. Full rain suit today, rain pants, jacket, and hat because it is actively raining right now. It's very light, a light drizzle, but we're going to be out in it for 5 or 6 hours, so no matter how light it is, that would soak us through eventually. So the rain gear is good. Okay, kayak is packed. I just need to drag it down to the water there. The tide is lower today, so all this kelp is exposed, and that kind of sucks because that stuff's really slippery. I'm probably not going to film much today because the weather is really crappy. We're headed that way. There are 2 otters just on the other side of these pilings playing around, but I'm sure they'll disappear on me when I get closer. Like 30 seconds after I shut the camera off a moment ago, an otter surfaced like 2 feet behind me and goes, bleh! Just immediately went back underwater and scared the hell out of me. You see one over there now, just poked his head up and looked at me and went back down. They're curious about me, that's for sure. 12:14 a.m. by the way, that's when we're starting to paddle. The ocean swell does feel a little bigger today. According to the NOAA weather radio, they were forecasting 3-foot seas today and it was 2 foot yesterday. It's still like entirely comfortable and manageable, but I can tell that it does bob me up a little bit more than it was yesterday. Definitely don't want to be out here on Tuesday, 3 days from now, because they're forecasting 10-foot seas for then, and I don't want anything to do with that. Try to get a quick shot of these puffins floating in the water next to me. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, we're definitely getting a boost from either the tide or the swell, or maybe a little of both, but we're cruising now, man. My watch tells me 3.8 miles per hour. Okay, we've got one of the sightseeing boats heading towards me, so I'm just going to do another radio call out here. Securite, securite, securite. This is kayaker Jason crossing Hive Island to Fox Island and then to Sunny Cove. Please be aware, orange kayak crossing Hive to Fox and then to Sunny. Okay, well they never replied to me over the radio, but they made an almost immediate course change to the left. I don't know if that was their planned course and it was just luck, or if they did that just to stay away from me, but either way, not an issue anymore. Alright, we're just pulling up to Sunny Cove here. I wasn't advised on where would be the best pickup point, so I'm just going to go for the beach at the head of the cove, and you know, I'm going to be a dude in a bunch of bags sitting on the beach. I'm sure they'll be able to find me. Alright, pulling up on the beach here, and this will be the end of the paddle portion of this trip. I just need to pack things up and wait for the pickup boat. Perfect. That was just an excellent landing. I just discovered that there are things living in my kayak. Where'd they go? There's one of them. Look at that. There's another one right there. These are like isopods. They scavenge the shoreline. I saw them crawling around the rocks in Mary's Bay. I assume they got in here overnight while the kayak was sitting on shore. You guys need to go out of here. I don't think they can hurt me. They're just, you know, like roly-polies. It's the same thing. Sea version. Sea version of a roly-poly. There's one. There's the other. Yeah, I don't like touching them. Well, it's 4:15 now, and when I called the company earlier to confirm that pickup was still scheduled. They said 4:15, so I don't know how punctual I should expect them to be. Like, does 4:15 mean 4:15, or does it mean somewhere in the hour of 4? So I guess I'll just wait a little longer. 4:28, and I think this is my ride. How's it going? Just put my stuff anywhere?
Yeah, wherever it's going, wherever's better.
You know, with all those huge icebergs. No. I have a... we gotta go this year, you know. It was pretty funny.
On a lead to Nina. I'm overtaking you.
Alright, safely back to Fairbanks. Got all my gear loaded back up in the truck. I'm still wet. I'm going to find somewhere a little more private than this busy parking lot to change into some dry clothes. But I think we'll call it a video here. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ooh, bacon cheeseburger and fries. Way too much of my diet on this trip has been candy bars.